everyone, it's Sharon. I haven't made a video in a really long time, so I thought I would hop on here and make a pretty long video only because I get a lot of the same questions every day. And while I would love to answer each and every one of you and go in detail, and I am quite understaffed, so it's only me and my assistant Adina who are answering emails. So I thought to make a video on the whole ordering process on how to order a stock piece online, because of course it's not easy to order a stock piece online when you can't try it on, you don't know how to get fit, what's a topper, what size do I wear, what color should I get, how do I measure. So I have like bits and pieces of videos on my YouTube channel already, how to measure cap size and how to select your color and how to measure your length, but I thought to make one long video, which hopefully will, can answer all the questions. I've taken my notes and I've thought to go into detail on every single aspect of what you would need to buy a topper. If you need to know how to buy a full wig, then I have another video on how to custom order a full wig. So you can watch that video and you can see exactly all the details needed for a full wig, because it's a little bit different than buying a topper. So, first things first, probably one of the most important things in buying a topper is cap size. So I have a lot of clients who are at the very beginning stages of their hair loss. They're seeing some thinning on their scalp, or they're seeing, a receding hairline, or there's so many different kinds of hair losses that it's hard to, it's not a one size fits all. While a topper cap, which I would say a 7x8 is probably one of my most popular sizes when it comes to a cap size. Reasons being it's comfortable, it's a comfortable size, it covers, and it's just a good and comfortable cap, because it's just basically like this. It's I'll show you to have more visual. A 7 would be kind of sitting like this, and an 8 kind of reaches over here. So that pretty much covers what most people want. I find that the smaller caps on many heads, not many, but a lot of heads, like a 5x5 or 5x6 or smaller than that, kind of create more of a coney shape on top. It also won't provide as much coverage, and it also is like it causes more pressure, because over here by where the temples are, this area over here is a little more pressure sensitive over there. So people find that the larger cap sizes are more comfortable. So if you're new to toppers and you don't have a significant amount of hair loss, meaning you don't have any like balding patches, like I have some clients who, for example, trichotillomania, that is a kind of hair loss where the person pulls out their hair. So if they have like a pulling spot on the side of their head, a 7x8 probably will not cover. Reasons being a clip might not attach to that certain bald spot, or it might not provide the right amount of coverage over there. So everyone has different, would need a different kind of cap size. It's definitely not a one size fits all. It's not like a wig where you're a small, medium, or large. But for the most part, a 7x8 is a cap size I usually recommend to most of my clients, and it's a topper size you'll find most on my website. If you want to measure for your cap size, I would suggest getting one of these, bendy measuring tapes, and measuring. So you want to know, it depends on also where you would plan to wear. Most of my clients wear their toppers pretty much to the front, like where I'm wearing my full wig. And let's say they have a very thinning spot over here, and it kind of just ends over here. So you know that you probably will be fine with a 6 or a 7. But if you have more hair loss towards the back, or if you have a bit of a different color, a hard color to match to, the more cap will be more coverage and more hair coverage. So it's not as much about density as it is cap size. For those who have pixie cuts or very, very short haircuts and they want to go longer, they would probably need to go for something with a big cap and a density of over 130. In In many cases as well, you might have to wear a halo piece or some sort of extension, because most of the toppers have the hair, you know, a good amount of hair in the front, but when it comes to the back where the head's more wide, it kind of can be, you know, more spacey. Some people are fine with it, or if you have a petite head, or if you're, you know, in general, like, you know, have a small figure, then you sometimes can cover, but for the most part, it's good to have some sort of extension or whatever. But if you're only going a few inches longer, then it's fine. I'm really talking about if you're going, like, hair up to here and you want to go for a topper down to here. I have clients who do it, but I think for the most part, it's better to just go max 6 inches, unless you're going to go for a very high density or a bigger cap. Okay, so I think that's pretty much all I have to discuss about cap size. Anything that even came up? Okay, I'll probably, you know, bring it up later if I have anything else to talk about. Okay, length. So I always suggest going longer than your own hair for a few reasons. One, you don't want the topper to be too short for your hair. I have some clients who have a great hairdresser and they go shorter and then they kind of like get it layered into their hair. But for the most part, I think it's best to just get a topper, sorry, a topper that is your length or longer. And when I say your length, I would also suggest getting 2 inches longer, because a lot of times people mismeasure, or let's say you have a wider head on top and the cap is kind of like, you know, sitting more like this and then falling, so the hair ends up being shorter. It's just always good to give yourself some room when ordering a topper when it comes to length, because you don't want to be stuck with a topper that's perfect in every way and then you just realize, oh, it's 3 inches too short, or it's 2 inches too short and I don't want to cut my hair. If you're open to cutting your hair, then of course it doesn't really matter. You could go your length, and if it ends up being 2 inches and you're okay with, you know, trimming a little bit of your own hair, that's awesome. But for the most part, I find that most of my clients are returning or exchanging toppers because the length happens to be too short, and it's like a bummer of a feeling. So you just want to order something that is your length, a little bit longer than your hair. So if you measure your own hair, and I always measure from the center part in the middle, like around right here, down. Which is about 22 inches on my wig. But give yourself an inch or two more. Just because a lot of times, again, as I said before, you don't want it to be too short for, you know, mismeasuring, or sometimes, by the way, not all these tape measures are so accurate either. I have like a few of these and they're all, you know, like half an inch off from each other. So just give yourself extra couple inches and trim it if need be. It's better in the long run. So that's that on length. And we already discussed about if you have a pixie and you want to go longer, if you want, you know, if your hair's up to here and you want to go a few inches longer, it's okay. Just go for a little bit of a higher density. Next is color. So this is a question I get asked often. It's not always going to be a perfect match. So let's say you find the perfect match, and like you're looking, and you finally find the perfect match. 3 to 4 months, or even maybe it depends on when you wear the topper, if you're going to wear it in the summer or in the winter. In the summer more often than the winter. 3 to 4 to 5 months down the line, the topper is not going to match your hair anyway. It's good to have a hairdresser, or if you go coloring yourself, which I plan to make another video on how to, you know, on how to color. It's good to have someone who will tone a topper for you, who will match it, unless you don't mind that it goes a little bit lighter. Because just like our own hair, we need to go, you know, for us, we have to go more often to a hairdresser, but these pieces also will need, you know, a recolor job, a re-dye job, unless you're going for like a natural color, those don't fade as much. But these pieces, which are, you know, pre-lightened and then darkened, they're going to fade as well. So it's good to have someone you know and trust, that, or, you know, practice doing it yourself, to dye and tone it as necessary. Because if you're one of those people that are very, like, you know, picky on how close the color matches, it's good to have someone that's always going to be able to color match it for you every few months of wear, because the more you wash, the more you wear, the more you wear it in the sun, it oxidizes, just like our own hair would. So I have a lot of different colors. If you look at my website, I have like tons of solid colors, tons of, you know, balayage, tons of ombres, tons of highlights, highlighted pieces, low lights, whatever. I have a lot of fun stuff going on my website. So a lot of my clients love my Lexicolor. Reason being, like this is, for example, my Lexicolor. It's a black root, and this is a dyed black top, but because it has some brown in the front and my hair is like a dark brown, it kind of just goes. But the reason why my clients like the Lexicolor is because, first of all, it's a fun color. It's not like one solid color. If you're one of those people that just like simple one color hair, then I have those available as well. If you're one of those people that like, a little bit of dimension, a lot of my clients like the Lexicolor because as long as this matches your hair, the bottom of it also has this top color, so your hair could be a solid color, and kind of when you brush it together with your own hair, it kind of just blends in together. I'll make a separate video on color just because there's so much to go into on color. I'll try making it one of these days. But again, just find something that's pretty much for the most part your color, and then you can take it to a hairdresser and have it match, but really it doesn't have to be 100% of a match. I have clients who switch off from like dark brown to medium brown to even light brown. It's really the only issue is whenever you wear it, a couple inches back, which is why I like when my clients wear them mostly to the front. I mean, obviously it's each their own, but I find it's looking most natural when it's pretty much up to the front while taking out just a few of your own baby hairs. So yeah, that's that on color. Next, I wanted to discuss texture. So most of my pieces will dry pretty much straight. That's just the natural texture of the hair I use. I find that it holds curls well. I find that it dries frizz-free for the most part. So it's just the kind of hair that I've been using for a while now, and I really have learned to love. And I found that my clients really love them too. That being said, I also can perm pieces. I don't perm pieces on demand. I have just whatever's on my website as stock pieces, and I'll occasionally try putting 3 to 4 pieces a week that are air dried wavy. So for those who like curls or waves, it can match the texture. So whenever it's permed, it will appear a bit more frizzy, because that's just the natural texture of a lot of people's curls. It'll kind of feel fuller and it'll look fuller because of the waves in it. When buying a permed piece, I would suggest also going an extra inch or 2 longer because the curls kind of will give it a bounce up. So yeah, this is pretty much how they look. They all perm a little bit differently. A lot of times the blonde ones don't get such a good perm because of how much they've been lightened. So this one happens to be a really pretty perm piece. Usually they're not as curly. The black ones can get, and the brown ones can get pretty curly, and the brown ones, whatever's hasn't been so lightened, can grab more of the curls, but I find the blonde ones don't grab as much curl, which is why I don't do them as often. They're not really harmed. They last for a long time, the perm pieces. I've had a client who had hers she wears it daily she has it for over a year now, and she said that it's pretty much the same as when she got it. I don't know what happens if you will, I have some clients or I assume I have clients who have one topper, like a wavy one, that they probably would iron it and blow dry. Can I wear it straight? Can I wear it wavy? I don't know what the effects are of constantly straightening a perm piece. I can imagine that the perm will, kind of loosen out if you're going to put heat on it. So for the most part, if you're going to get a perm piece, I would suggest just wearing it wavy. To keep the waves in, you just spray with water and scrunch, and you should probably have to wash it a little bit more often than the straight ones, just because of the wavy texture and keeping those curls in. Okay, density. So a lot of my clients think that they want really, really low density, but at the end of the day, it's good to have more than less. A lot of my clients find that my pieces are thick. And I tell them, you're probably just not used to having that much hair, which is true, because I have a lot of clients who tell me later on, their first topper, they thinned it out so much, and then they kind of wish they didn't because they liked having the fuller hair and they just weren't used to having that kind of hair. But once you get used to it, once you get it layered and framed in, it kind of feels lighter, and you also won't have to worry about the texture underneath, Is your hair going to be frizzing underneath, or is it curly underneath? Is it slightly different color underneath? I make my pieces, my stock pieces, pretty much at a 120 to 125 density, which is a happy medium, just like I like my 7x8 caps. I found the 120 to 125 to be something that most of my clients like, and I like putting on my website what most of my clients like. With that being said, 120 to 125, you can always thin it out. You can always, add some face framing layers, texturize the ends, pull from the, silk top, thin out from underneath. But you don't have to automatically look for a 110 density topper. A lot of times when I make 110 density toppers for my website, it's really me just thinning it out also. So I would suggest trying out the 120. If you feel like it's too thick, take it in to have it thinned out, or watch my YouTube video on thinning out a topper. It's pretty simple to do. Just don't overly do it. While my pieces don't usually shed much, over the course of time, the more you brush it, 2-3 strands of hair falls out here, 2-3 strands of hair fall out there. It will thin on its own over time. So it's not good to, don't make it the perfect thinned out topper that you want it now. Think about 6 months down the line when those like few hairs fall out over time. You want to make sure that you still have enough hair to be able to wear it. Okay, now I'm going to talk about cap styles. So I know there's a lot of companies out there that have like a mono top and a lace top and a lace front and a poly strip top and a medical top. And I really just like being simple. I mean, I'm making these videos now. I don't know what's going to be next year or, in a few years from now. But right now, I'm pretty much simple with what I do. I like silk top weft back or silk top hand-tied back. It's something that I find to be the most realistic. It's what I find my clients find most realistic, and I've been doing it for a long time, and this is what I offer them, and I do, again, what most of my clients are happy with. So when it comes to toppers, I have two styles. So this is my silk top with wefted back. I prefer the wefted back. I mean, I only wear full wigs, but when I have clients, I tell them why I like wefted backs, and that's because wefts can hold more hair, and I know for those people who don't want a lot of hair, go for the hand-tied